Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. As part of the design team over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge, it is the second layout challenge of the month, which is to tell a celebration story. And I'm going to keep my story on the simpler side. We are just going to talk about celebrating some everyday accomplishments. And so that is what I've got for you today. Let's dive in. All right, I have this story to tell, which is my daughter's first experience at an open mic poetry night. And actually, she made the front page of their website after she read her poems. And I have taken some screenshots from their webpage to document this little accomplishment that she had. And I pulled out my counterfeit kit, and part of what I had in there was these words, you. And that's because I knew, as the hostess for this month's challenges, I knew what the challenges were going to be. And I knew that the idea of you and documenting you was going to be a big part of my kit this month. So I have got these products coming on out, and as I'm looking through things, I'm not entirely sure what I want to use, but then that half sheet that I used previously fell out, and I decided that will be a starting point for my layout. Now, one thing I did know I wanted to do was cut these photos from those screenshots down and create a little accordion piece here. I do kind of wish I had printed this part a little bit bigger, because this is like a list of all of the poets who read their work during this particular open mic night, which is a little bit of an impressive list. And I wanted to get all that on there to show that this wasn't just, my kid went into 5 people and then made the front page of this website. This poetry night is well attended, and they really appreciated having a teenager there to get excited about poetry. And it surprises me too, because I am not a particular poet. I love to read, and I definitely love the written word. But poetry has never been my thing. She has been very much inspired by one of her teachers at her kind of alternative school. So that is another thing to celebrate about this story. It's like celebrating the fact that we live in a world full of great people. And when we share with each other, it just makes our lives more rich. So I am going to create this little pocket to put that accordion piece in, because that's not a huge part of the story. These photos of her making their webpage is kind of where I'm going with the story, and saying, if you just jump in there and do something, especially something that's kind of unexpected for somebody in your point of life. It's like, it's not really expected that teenagers are going to go to open mic poetry nights. So, having this fun part of her life and her story is a great thing. So I am going to create this pocket with this particular sheet of paper, and really there's no rhyme or reason to choosing these particular papers. It's just that I liked the colors together, and that it's as simple as that. Sometimes I will have, lots of reasoning behind my choices, and this time not so much. It's just that they're all working together. All right. What I did decide to do, however, is create this kind of split design where the information on the left is the main focus, and the information on the right of this design is more details to the story. So I've got my main photo there, and I will put my title up there around the top, and we will get to that. I am making sure everything is working out so far with the structure of the layout, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn to title and embellishment. I am using these puffy stickers as well as my word you, and I'm going to pull out some alpha stickers later to create a very layered title. And we will be building that into layering of embellishments as well. I am popping up just the bottom portion of the word you with some foam, so that it has some room to overlap the puffiness of the that word up there. And then here is the rest of my title on some foam alphabets there. And I believe those are current product simple stories, like color vibe alphabet set. And I will get all of these layered up there. And because I only popped that U up on a little bit of foam, I was able to slide and tuck my hello word underneath it. I am going to use the fibers in my kit and add some bows to this project. And moving on from that, I did have to use a little bit of glue because that bow was misbehaving. And so I've got a stamping block holding that in place while the glue dries. I did leave plenty of room for journaling down here so I could tell the whole story. I did debate whether or not I wanted to use a separate piece of paper for my journaling, but since most of my papers are kind of busy florals, this green was actually kind of the calmest paper I had so that I could go ahead and journal straight on it, and it wouldn't compete too much with the words. So that is that. I've got some space down there for my journaling. And I'm starting to build a little bit of a cluster around. I am balancing on the diagonal from the title down here to my little embellishment cluster with some more words and emphasizing the U again. And I believe that little blue part says, "Make me smile." So the whole thing down there says, "You make me smile." I am building up one more cluster around the edge of my other photos, and that will give me my kind of visual triangle of embellishment clusters, and just trying to repeat elements across the cluster. So some banner type elements. You'll see me bring in these puffy kind of vines. I will bring in some florals. There will be a little bit later, there will be hearts, and trying to remember what else there was in there. Definitely some words in each cluster. So I am just layering things up in a way that I think will work. And I do size my clusters. So one will be a bigger cluster, one will be a medium cluster, and one will be a smaller cluster. So I kind of go with the smaller cluster around the title just because the title needs to stand out more among everything. I do overlap my photo a little bit. I really like things when they're touching and overlapping and tucked around each other. And that was something I was not good at when I first started scrapbooking. I definitely had to learn this embellishment clustering idea. I used to watch a lot of Chamel videos, and that was one of the things that helped me figure out why I felt like the clusters were so effective. A lot of touching, overlapping, tucking. So all of those things definitely come into play with my clustering these days. In case you have challenges with embellishing, those were the things that really helped me. And, you know, everybody is different too. So if your embellishing style is working for you, go for it. I'm just telling you what works for me and why. All right, and with that said, I did go off camera and finish write in my journaling, and that will finish up the layout for this time around. I hope you appreciated watching my process here. This one was pretty straightforward. If you are interested in joining us over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge, I will leave you links below. We're happy to have you come hang out with us. We do scrapbook kit building and then challenge you with fun ideas and prompts throughout the month to use up your kit to tell your stories. And with that, I will be back a couple more times this week. I have one smaller video and one longer video for you, so I hope you will join me for that. And until then, have an artful day.